All right, well, it is June 13th, 2020, and I'm smack in the middle of the Kiamichi Mountains in southeast Oklahoma. Give a quick shout out to Mark from the YouTube channel Livewire and to Cornell from the YouTube channel the No Such Thing podcast. We'd actually, all three of us were tentatively thinking about getting together this weekend, but our scheduling didn't line up. And we also weren't looking forward to getting out in the heat like it is, which I decided to do it anyway. So here I am, and man, I just got to say something. Is this not crazy times we're living in? I mean, we had the pandemic thing hit. Then we have the riots and the protests, just the general chaos of things going on. And, with all of that, it's just seemed like a good time to get out in the middle of the wilderness and just not have to think about all that stuff. So that's what I'm doing. So anyway, shout out to my friend Mark and Cornell, and we're looking forward to maybe meeting up in October and going out and doing these things too. But anyway, so what I'm going to do today, this is the area that I have been coming to pretty consistently since about 2003, generally with a friend of mine named Brian. He wasn't able to come this weekend either because of his work schedule, and I managed to get my son to fill in for me at my business, so I came off down here. So anyway, I started coming to this area, and as I've told this story in some other videos, investigating a sighting of a Bigfoot by a man on horseback in this general area back in 2003. At that time, when we investigated that, we found footprints of a Bigfoot, and had one or something, I mean, what else could do it, I don't know, but throw a very large rock against a tree right at the edge of our camp. And like I said, since then, about every year we come back. I try to make it down here 2 or 3 times. This is a solo camp trip I'm doing right now. I'll be here for a couple of nights by myself. Hopefully I find something interesting, but I'm about to get my fishing gear and go down to the creek and catch my dinner, hopefully. I always, whether you find any evidence of a Bigfoot, a Sasquatch, or whatever, if you can make a good fishing trip out of it, it's still great to be out into nature. And I tell you what, since I've been down here, the only other engine of any vehicle I have heard was a jet passed over a little bit earlier. I'm about a little more than 20 miles from the nearest town. The only roads coming in here are like logging roads, and it's a peaceful place. So that being said, as it gets dark, I'm camping in one of the more remote places I could get to in my pickup. So hopefully there'll be some activity tonight, and cross my fingers, maybe I'll be able to record something, But anyway, I'm going to make a good camp trip out of it, and I just love being out here. So anyhow, I'm going to leave it at that for right now, and I'm going to go get my fishing gear and go down and try to catch my dinner, and then set up camp. I think I usually set up a tarp. I don't like I've said in other videos, I don't sleep in a tent. I don't like not being able to see what's going on around me in the woods. But today it's very hot, but at least I'm in the shade, and I camped up out of the valley. There's a valley below me to the west that I just camp in, especially if it's cooler weather. But it's just like an oven down there, so I'm kind of up on the closer to the top of the mountain here, where I'm getting a good breeze. So I'm gonna probably just kick back in a lawn chair and kick my feet up and sleep out in the open tonight. So anyway, for y'all that's been following this YouTube channel, as I said a few weeks ago, I've just published a book, and it's based on the Bigfoot legend and some Choctaw native legend as well. It's called the Shampe, and the inspiration for the Shampe, at least the landscape and the area that it takes place in, is right here, right in the middle of the Kiamichi Mountains, which is right in the middle of Choctaw Nation territory. So I did a lot of research on that book to make sure I did not deviate from the actual legend. But the Shampe, it's a Choctaw legend of a monster that lived in the swamps in Mississippi, and if you were out hunting or whatever and happened to get into its territory, it would track you down, kill you, and eat you. They didn't call it a Bigfoot, obviously, because that legend's hundreds of years old at least, but it sounds like what they're talking about is a Bigfoot that's having a very bad day or a bad attitude. So what I did is I took that legend and I wove it into the Bigfoot legend without deviating at all from what they say about it. So anyway, that's me shamelessly advertising my book right now before I go fishing. But if you get a chance, pick it up and read it. It's available on Amazon in either paperback or ebook. So anyway, for real, I'm going to go now. I've got my fishing gear rigged up. I've got my little black and yellow beetle spin already strung up on my rod, and I am going straight down there. It's my favorite fishing hole in this creek, and I have pretty consistently good luck there. Hopefully I'll be checking back in later tonight, share a Bigfoot story or two, and maybe if we are fortunate, or if I'm fortunate, maybe have some kind of activity tonight that I can report on. So stay tuned. Now I'm just filming the forest around my camp, and the woods are quiet except for birds. I don't hear a thing out here. Keep going through the woods that way. It goes down into a small canyon and then straight up the other side to the ridge. This is a kind of a valley in the Kiamichi mountains, kind of secluded from everything. I'm fortunate to have found this place about 17 years ago, and I really come down here quite a bit. Might just walk up to the edge of this canyon here and let you guys see where it's at there. Alright. Little walking woods. Gotta really watch my step through here. This is the first time I've been down here in warm weather that I have not stumbled upon a timber rattler out here. There's an abundance of timber rattlesnakes. And I don't mind them. I'm not afraid of snakes. I just respect them. You know, as long as I can see them, especially out here like I am now by myself, long ways from the nearest town and even further from the nearest hospital. I think the nearest hospital is probably, good grief, probably, well, not probably, it's 50 miles away. So, I got to watch my step down here. That's the thing about solo camping, is you need to be a lot more aware of everything you do, because little things can be disastrous, where if you were with a friend, it wouldn't be so disastrous. Like, you know, if I'm up here hiking and get snake bit or fall off a cliff or something, there's no cell phone signal down here for sure, and I'd be in trouble. So it's a whole different reality when you camp by yourself, and I don't discourage it. Since I started coming down here by myself, it is an experience I wouldn't trade for anything. I love it, absolutely love it. you just, you know, your sense of awareness is much more than if you're with friends or so. Getting used to filming by myself and stuff, whatever. But yeah, you just got to be a lot more aware of your surroundings, I'll say that. Now, last November, as I was saying earlier, when me and my friend Brian were here, something approached our camp coming down this gully right here. And this gully, this canyon, it goes up the side of the mountain there, but something came down through here, followed this, the edge of it, all the way down. And our camp, my camp where I'm at right now, is out, you can't see it through the trees, but it's another about 75 yards probably. And that's what we thought. You know, we thought it was a game warden because it was close to deer season. We figured, well, he's just you know, looking around, make sure nobody's trying to get a head start on deer season and breaking the law there. So we just ignored it. And then the next morning we get up and we find some tracks, and they measured right at 18 inches long. So unless we've got the world's biggest game warden taking care of this area, I do believe that's a Sasquatch. Where the footprints that we found down here before and actually cast were in the, you know, the 12 to 13 inch range. So this was a totally different individual, obviously. So it is hot. It's about 95 down here. I'm glad I'm in the shade. And I'm just walking and talking right now, hoping y'all find the scenery interesting. I do. I never get tired of it. I don't care if I come down here every day. I would never get tired of it. I'm gonna hike up the edge of this. You really got to watch your step. I was a little uneasy because I keep talking about it, but first time I've been down here in warm weather that I have not yet seen a timber rattler. And the thing is, in these leaves here, you really just can't see them unless you're just really paying attention. So there's also copperheads, which, you know, strangely I've not seen a copperhead here yet. Venomous snakes I see abundantly down here. Timber rattlers around the rocks and up in here. And then down at the creek, it is very full of water moccasin, or cottonmouth, as we call them here. So, anyway, Mark, Cornell, this is what I'm doing this weekend. Wish you guys were here. Hopefully next time we can get together. That's a couple of really neat people I met through my YouTube channel. Mark, I've been investigating on his place now since early spring or late winter. And Cornell, he contacted me and done an interview on his podcast, and we've all three of us kept in touch very regularly since. So made a couple of good friends through my YouTube channel. Good people. Glad to meet them. Glad to have met them, I should say. Hope they feel the same way about me. So anyway, yeah, these rocks here. This is just prime timber rattler territory right here. And in these pine needles, man, they just disappear in this stuff. Copperheads too. Of course, copperhead I'm not very worried about. I mean, you get bit by copperhead and you're in decent health, which as far as I know I am, it'll make you pretty sick. But I'm not worried about getting out of here in one piece if I get bit by copperhead. Now, I get bit by cottonmouth or a timber rattler, I'm going to have some problems. But anyway, hope you enjoyed the walk and talk in the woods. Hopefully as the evening wears on, I'll have some stuff happening around the camp. And hopefully I won't be the, what do you call it, the subject of one of David Paulides' books where I get drug off by a, I don't know, a lovelorn female Sasquatch. Oh, that's terrible. I better stop talking like that. Okay, see you guys later.